What's up, guys? I'm Matt, and welcome to The Music That Made Me. On this episode, we will be taking a stroll down memory lane and re-reacting in my case, to Fear Factory Shock from their album Obsolete, which came out in 1998. The reason that this song is so significant to me on a personal level is A, I've seen them twice, but B, this was one of the first metal bands that I had ever heard that also incorporates like an industrial kind of tone to them. And you're talking 1998, so you're talking almost 30 years ago. So think of like your favorite industrial metal bands, and I can kind of almost guarantee that they got a lot of their influence from Fear Factory. Now, this is not their first album. They have two albums before this, if I'm not mistaken. I know they have Demanufacture, and then there's another album that I can never remember the name of. But Obsolete has always been my favorite album from them. I think also that the audio quality behind it is intense. It's phenomenal. Even today, almost 30 years later, it still sounds amazing. So, for those who have never experienced Fear Factory before, get ready. But keep an open mind. Specifically through this video series that I'm going to do, I have a very eclectic music library. So the genres are all over the place. And I promise you, it's not just going to be a bunch of metal, although I do love metal. It's going to be filled with so many different genres of music that I'm sure there'll be something that you'll find that you enjoy as much as I do. So, without further ado, Shock by Fear Factory. Anyone listening on earbuds, you can hear it panning back and forth. Biggest thing with this band is the drummer, Raymond Herrera. Nobody really played like this. Like, you had metal drummers, but stylistically, he was just different. And it sounds amazing still. You notice the industrial, the samples. All right, right there, real quick. Don't want to get copyright claimed if I can help it. But, okay, right there, this is the first song off of this album. So this is how they're basically reintroducing themselves to the fans. And this was only, I think, 2 years after Demanufacture. I believe that was 96. So that is 30, just now 30 years almost. Early 2000 or early 96. I can't remember. But regardless, this is how they're going to reintroduce themselves, is with a song like this. Now, a lot of bands could have gone with a straight intro, which is just like a minute to a minute and a half of just like noise, like a lot of metal bands, specifically back in this era, would have done. But the band just said, to hell with it. We're going hard. We're going brutal. Obviously, super clean. Everything is really in sync. And like I said, the panning back and forth with the electronics is awesome. Now, I don't listen to a lot of like music like this where they have a lot of like electronic samples in it. Back then it was cool because it was new and different. Nowadays, for me, it's just kind of old. It's I've heard it for 30 years, so it's just not my cup of tea. But there are still a lot of bands out there that do it well. All right, let's get back into it. And Burton C. Bell, the singer, very unique take on metal style with his voice. Again, the band is so tight. Like, granted, this is like multiple takes in a studio. You know, this isn't like even decades before this where they had to record everything together in one room. But still. There's more of the panning. Again, just very different take on the genre. All right, pause it right there real quick. Everyone still with me? Again, this isn't going to be every episode. This is just one of many, 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 many songs I grew up listening to. I'm 41 right now, so, I mean, I was 14 when this song came out, so I was literally a freshman in high school, maybe sophomore, I can't remember. I think I was a freshman. So, think about a young teenage boy, specifically the 90s, you know. I mean, that was, to me, the greatest era in music was the 90s, because you had a lot of the holdovers from the 80s, so you had all of the amazing classic rock bands that were still around. You had all of the newer like hair metal bands that were still around. You started getting into like punk and hardcore. You know, a lot of them started in the late 80s as well. You still had a ton of metal bands from the 80s holding over into the 90s. That's when the birth of grunge happened. That's when the birth of ska. You had so many amazing genres of music just basically competing for your attention. And this is just another one of those albums for me. And again, was just a very unique take on a genre of music that I loved, which is metal, but bringing in some of those industrial electronic elements to just spice it up a little bit. Like if they took them all out, this would still be a great song, but the effect that it has on the music and the way they use it to build is amazing. And like I said, I've seen these guys twice. I saw them at Ozfest twice when Ozfest was a thing. I saw him on the main stage one year, opening for Ozzy, and I think Slayer or Pantera. Actually, that may have been the same year. And then I saw him on the second stage as well, the same year that Slipknot debuted. That was 99. Yeah, Slipknot and Fear Factory on the same stage. That was second stage, too. It wasn't even a main stage. That was nuts. And Slipknot came out in their red jumpsuits, the original red jumpsuits, right when their first album came out. But yeah, not talking about Slipknot, but still, that's just showing you the era of the music. Again, with Fear Factory, Ozzy, I think it was Black Sabbath maybe, and Pantera. I mean, that was music. But keep going. I gotta go back 5 seconds. I gotta remember to start doing that. I thought that. Wow, wow, wow. And Fear Factory's lyrics are very Terminator 2. Think of Terminator 2 as a band, it's them. It was machines taking over humanity, was the lyrics. And again, you had some like metalcore, which is a way to for me anyways, a way to describe the harsh vocals with the clean vocals. And I guarantee you nobody's ever heard this. Like, this was... First time I heard Fear Factory was the Demanufacture album. And hearing Burton's cleans, I was very confused at first. Very conflicted. But... I don't know if you can hear it, that in the background. This is a band you want to wear with really closed headphones. I'm wearing earbuds, or IEMs. Here's a nice tempo change. Yep, there it is. I guess this would be the bridge. Actually, I think I've seen these guys 3 times now I'm thinking about it. 2 Ozfests, and then I saw them locally as a headliner. Yeah, I did. So 3 times. That bass drop. All right. What'd y'all think? No one's gonna watch this. No one's gonna watch it to the end anyways. That's why we're trying to keep these videos short. Under 15 minutes was my goal. Actually, 10 is my goal, but we'll see. Because I do have to stop and talk a little bit here and there. But yes, that is Fear Factory Shock from their album Obsolete from 1998. Many songs that helped shape my youth in many genres. Even when I was a kid, I was listening to a lot of different genres of music. As an adult, it's gotten even more unique and eclectic. So, again, this is just a video series I'm starting that I just thought it would be cool to kind of go down memory lane and revisit my favorite songs. And kind of have a little bit of a story behind each. Now, some of them will have a deeper story. Others are just bangers that I enjoy with no real context other than it sounds cool. But a lot of them, there's going to be personal reflection for me because I was in a, like in this case, in high school. And, you know, you're developing as into a human being, you know, into who you're eventually going to be. And music really does that for, I would say, the majority of people, whether you know it or not. So, again, this was just one of the songs, and I've actually been listening to this album quite a bit lately. It's kind of one of those albums that I'll revisit on my own as the months go by. And I was just like, I think I saw a graphic for this album just like scrolling through on YouTube, and I was like, oh man, I got to listen to Obsolete again. So I started listening to Obsolete, and here we are. But thank you very much. Again, I got a whole bunch of other content on YouTube. I'm also an author. I'm hoping you guys know that are watching this. Any information, go to mattjamesauthor.com. But if you're right here on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the videos. We're going to continue to do these. And I'm also gaming a lot on YouTube, just trying to present myself on some sort of social media that isn't like spamming on Facebook. So thank you very much. This is the first episode of the music that made me, which can be kind of scary when you think about it, but appreciate it. Bye.